So, what if the same AI that's all around us, the one that powers our digital world, could also help us decode our inner world? Today, we're going to dive into how technology is learning to understand our deepest struggles and what that can teach us about our very own minds.
Let's just start with this. This is a real anonymous statement from a social media user. It's raw, it's incredibly powerful, and it's a window into the kind of profound pain people are sharing online every single day. This is the human data we're talking about.
And this brings up a massive question for the age we live in. With so much of our inner life being expressed so publicly, can the very technology that hosts these confessions also help us and, mental health professionals actually understand them better? To even begin to answer that, we first have to look at the landscape of these digital diaries. I mean, just think about it for a second. Platforms like Reddit or X have basically become these gigantic, sprawling archives of human emotion. The anonymity they offer lets people share their totally unfiltered thoughts on depression, anxiety, even suicidal thoughts, creating this data set of the human mind in distress that we've just never had before. So, what on earth do we do with all this data? Well, this is where we get into some truly groundbreaking research. A recent study shows how scientists are literally training AI models to analyze these exact kinds of posts. Now, the goal here isn't surveillance, it's to spot specific patterns in our language that could offer critical insights for psychotherapists. The AI is being built on a really well-established framework from psychology called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. You've probably heard of it. It's one of the most effective treatments out there for things like depression and anxiety, and it's all about that connection between our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. So CBT breaks down our experiences using this really simple but powerful framework called the ABCD model. The big idea here is that it's not an activating event, the A, that directly causes a negative consequence, the C. No, it's our belief about that event, the B, that's the crucial link, that's the real game changer. And this is exactly what the AI is learning to do. It reads a raw, messy, emotional post and figures out how to parse it to find the A, the B, and the C. It's basically learning to trace the cognitive path that leads from something happening to how we end up feeling or acting. This is a direct example from the research. And yeah, it's heavy, but it's such a powerful illustration. The activating event of past abuse, it leads to this belief of complete worthlessness, which then results in the devastating consequence of suicidal behavior. Seeing that path laid out so clearly is just incredibly clarifying. Okay, so when AI can learn to see these patterns, but here's the most important part of this whole thing. So can you. This is where it all connects. On one hand, you have this high-level, complex AI research, and on the other, you have incredibly practical psychology from authors like Dr. Julie Smith. And here's the wild part. They are both talking about the exact same thing.
You see, the fancy academic term the AI researchers use is cognitive distortions. In popular psychology, you'll hear it called a thought bias or a thinking trap. But they're just two names for the same thing, those irrational thought patterns that end up shaping our reality.
So the crucial point is this. Just as AI is learning to read the underlying code of our distress in text, we can learn to read the code in our own minds. We can actually become the decoders of our own thoughts. So how do we do that? Well, let's equip ourselves with a few tools right out of the psychologist toolkit. Dr. Julie Smith's work gives us a fantastic, really accessible place to start. By learning to just name these thinking traps, we start to take away their power. Honestly, just recognizing them when they pop up is a huge first step. Here are a few really common ones. You've got all or nothing thinking, where everything is either perfect or a total disaster. Then there's mind reading, where we just assume we know why someone did something negative. And emotional reasoning. This one is huge. It's the belief that because we feel something, like guilt, and must be an objective fact. Do any of these sound a little familiar? But here's the thing. Before you can even start to challenge these big, complex thoughts, Dr. Smith says we have to strengthen our foundations. She compares it to a football team. You wouldn't send them out to play a game without their defense ready. And these are our core defenders. When we get stressed out, these are usually the first things we let slide. But getting enough sleep, moving our bodies, keeping a simple routine, and fostering real human connection, these are absolutely non-negotiable for mental resilience. They are the bedrock of our well-being. So as we wrap up, it's pretty clear this isn't about choosing between a high-tech AI solution and personal self-awareness. The real power isn't putting them together. using technology to give us insights at a massive scale, while at the same time empowering each of us with the tools to understand our own minds. And that leaves us with a final, and I think really empowering question. We know technology's ability to decode human thought is only going to get better. So the challenge for us is to keep pace, to turn that same analytical lens inward, and get more fluent in the language of our own minds. And finally, a really, really crucial point. The tools and concepts we've talked about today are for building self-awareness, not for self-diagnosis. If you are struggling, please know that professional help is available, and it makes a world of difference. Reaching out is always a sign of strength.